Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith and welcome to my view from the 40. Full disclosure, if my tongue is looking a little red, it's because I am sipping Fruit Punch Crystal Light. So good. Not a sponsor, but they could be. Ladies and gentlemen, just came back from the Ottawa REDBLACKS game and they lost another close one. So let's talk about this. Going into this week, on paper, I would have thought to myself, this is going to be a tough game for Ottawa to win. I had Edmonton in my mind winning this game. They were undefeated. They were 6-0 coming into this. And as much as I would have wanted Ottawa to be the one in 6-1, they again came up short. But before we get into the analysis of this game, we need to kind of take a step back. And it was early in the second quarter where Ottawa was starting to mount a comeback that I actually started flipping through Edmonton's record. And 100% 6-0. They won 2 games against BC, but then their other victories have come against Eastern teams. And the interesting thing is that Ottawa and Edmonton are somewhat of a tale of two cities in the sense that Ottawa has been losing so many close games and Edmonton has been winning so many close games. Edmonton's margin of victory for their 7 wins is an average of 5 points. Now, Ottawa's average loss is like 3.3 points. So Ottawa's just there. So anybody who's saying, Ottawa's a terrible team, they're not a terrible team. Just when the coin flips and you call heads for Ottawa, it's always coming up tails. So there were a lot of things that Ottawa did well in this game. They moved the ball pretty decently. Their defense did come up with some big plays. Their pass defense let through a couple of big plays, but overall their defense didn't look as poor as it had in previous weeks. So for the real fans out there, I've got good news for you. There's hope for this team. The frustrating part is that there were a couple of key penalties that hurt Ottawa. Like a late pass interference call that set up Edmonton for a touchdown was not great. And then a bonehead roughing called in the end zone. Look, the guy's got a touchdown. There's no need to try to ram him into concrete. Like, that's just not cool. That's not how we do it in the 613/819. We got to be classier about things like that. But Ottawa played a decent game. Now, again, pass defense is a huge concern for me. Ottawa REDBLACKS, there is a guy by the name of Ryan Phillips. Sign him! This is a guy that has won multiple Grey Cups with the BC Lions. He's been fantastic in terms of getting interceptions. We need somebody of his stature in that locker room. Because with all due respect, we need somebody with veteran experience to be able to come and set a tone. Towards the end of the game, it was 2nd and 7. Now, normally, if you have the ball and you're leading and you're trying to run out the clock, you would just run the ball. Edmonton, like many other teams, has absolutely no respect for Ottawa's pass defense, so they threw. Close to the end of the game, they risked a potential interception, but they said, no, we're going to throw it. And at this point, Mike Riley, the Edmonton quarterback, had already had 2 interceptions, but he's like, you know what, end of the game, I don't care, I'm throwing it. And they got the first down. Ottawa needs to step up their pass defense. From a pass defense standpoint, Mike Riley tonight was able to throw for 384 yards. 384 yards against Trevor Harris's 256. And on top of that, Riley was able to rush for another 51. Listen, if the quarterback is running for 50 yards, it's not a good thing. So again, to me, I'm not putting this all on the defense, but I'm saying the defense does need to be a lot better. And Ottawa's offense also needs to get to the point where they're confident in being able to run like a minute drill down the field because other teams are being able to do it on them. So Ottawa's close. They're so close. They just need to push it over the line. I'll tell you this, going into Hamilton next week, a team who at this moment hasn't won a game yet, they better damn well figure out how they're going to go in and beat the Ticats because that is not another loss they want on their record. To lose to statistically the worst team in the league? No, absolutely not. So the night wasn't all, doom and gloom. Perhaps the highlight of the night was this picture. Doesn't this little girl steal your heart? She certainly steals mine. And you know what the really cool thing about this little girl is? Chances are she doesn't really care who won or lost the game. She just cares about the fact that she was able to go on the field after and meet her superheroes, which are, of course, the Ottawa REDBLACKS cheer and dance team. So it's always nice to put things in perspective. I understand that the players, this is their job. They want to win. They want to be, they're competitive. They want to win. I get that, and I respect that. But I also respect the fact that as a fan, I want them to win, but I look at things from multiple points of view, and one of the points of view is from a kid's point of view, because once upon a time, I was a little kid. I wasn't a little girl with that awesome hairdo. I had an afro, but I was a little kid, and I remember going to the games and just being able to be in the stadium and see something like that. So we might not have pulled out a win, but we put a smile on this little girl's face, and to me, that's just as good. Let's get it done in Hamilton next week. What did you guys think of tonight's game? Let me know. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. Thank you so much for checking this out. My name is Keith, and that's my view from the 40.